I'm meteorologist Monica Woods, and we're looking at a foggy forecast continuing in the outlook, at least for the lower elevations. Now, you get above that for the foothills and the Sierra. We've got mostly sunny skies, but those clear conditions overnight are leading to some very cold nights. Our visible satellite imagery, now this is from Monday. You can really see how that fog and the low cloudiness is hugging the lower elevations. Very little erosion throughout the day, and that's been keeping us quite cool in the forecast. That all started off on Thanksgiving week with some very chilly temperatures. In fact, last week we only hit a high of 45 degrees last Friday. That's going to be the coolest day that we've seen for an afternoon high since 2022. So that cold air certainly making its presence known. The other side of this is some poor air quality. Now, again, this is from Monday when we really see those gunky skies build up through the afternoon. People using their wood stoves and their fireplaces, all of that particulate matter, that smoke has nowhere to go. So we start to see some unhealthy air building in the valley. And that's why many of the air quality management districts will put out alerts saying don't use those wood burning appliances. In fact, there's restrictions in place for some parts of the valley. So no burning unless exempt for Sacramento County, no burning unless registered for San Joaquin and Stanislaus County. As we dig deeper in through the valley, there's in fact burn bans going on in some parts of the Central Valley. Most of that low cloudiness once again hugging right along I-5 and Highway 99. Difficult travel up and down the Central Valley all the way out towards the Delta and even parts of the coast. Some of that is retreating inland as we head into the afternoon, but it's rinse and repeat here in the forecast with that inversion and the low cloudiness really stuck here in the valley for the time being. Highs near 60, though, for this year under that solid ridge of high pressure and sinking warming air. 60s to almost 70 in parts of the foothills. Get down into the lower foothills where we actually are seeing some of that low cloudiness. And we're in the 40s. We're going to see that play out throughout the San Joaquin Valley. Fog in the forecast and low cloudiness. So Fresno, only a high of 47 degrees. Get up in elevation, and we're in the 50s, even into the 60s. Yosemite at 65 degrees for our Tuesday. Along the Central Coast, highs are going to be in the 60s and 70s, almost 80 degrees for San Luis Obispo. Plenty of sunshine. San Lucas at 71, Hollister at 68. Again, inland areas struggling to get out of the 40s. Those morning lows and afternoon highs just a few degrees apart because the clouds just don't clear. 50s and 60s across the Bay Area. Head inland, we're in the 40s to right around 50 all the way through the Delta. Along the northwest coast, highs are going to be in the 50s and 60s. Inland areas, especially for the north end of the valley, still struggling to reach out of the 40s and low 50s. As you head into the parts of the upper elevations, we're in the 60s, almost 70s. So again, you really start to see how the impact of the low clouds is keeping us on the cooler side of things, with some of these temperatures just struggling to even make it out of the 40s for tomorrow through the capital region. A look at our forecast, I should say, for our Tuesday. We're going to be looking at that high pressure. Pretty stable weather conditions. Highs will be in the 50s and 60s, and we continue to see that for the foothills and for the coast. Highs are in the 50s and 60s with our extended forecast showcasing pretty much stable conditions. No rain right now.